Well, hey, y'all, I'm Melanie Redd, and I want to welcome you to Ordinary Women, Extraordinary God. We're a tandem ministry of love we're finding, and we're here to encourage you to walk without fear of the future. And we've been doing podcasts, we've been doing emails and social media, and we thought it might be encouraging to actually do some videos. And so we've been making these videos, and my favorite part is that you get to meet some of my favorite people in this world. And today, you get to meet one of my heart friends. This is one of my sweet friends. We met online and then we met in real life and we pray for each other. And I love this woman and I think she's going to be such an encouragement to you. So meet Lori Schumaker. Welcome, Lori. We're so glad you're here.
Oh, thank you, Melon, for that sweet welcome. I feel the same way about you. Definitely a heart friend. So thanks for having me here.
And we're just going to have a conversation. You get to kind of enter in. So grab your coffee or tea and join us. And you're welcome to leave comments or questions below. I've got my water. Lori has her tea or coffee. And we just want you to take part. And so we're just going to talk a little bit and share what's going on in our lives and what God's doing. And our prayer is that our candid conversation will encourage you to love Jesus more. So let's get started. Lori, tell us just a little bit about you. Introduce yourself. Let everybody know who you are.
Well, my name is Lori Schumaker. I am wife to Brian. We've been married for 22 years and we have 3 children, 2 bio sons and an adopted daughter. They are 20, 18, and 16. And we're in the throes of almost finishing college with one and the other one making college decisions. And our youngest one that we adopted internationally through Bulgaria, she will probably be with us for always. Selah has a lot of emotional and developmental needs. And so I get to have my daughter with me forever.
Yeah.
And then I write. I write to encourage women to give them hope. A lot like you, Malin. I think that's part of our heart connection. That I think the world so needs hope. We just need hope. We need light. We need to know that we can make it through the tough things. And because God walked me through my tough things, I wanted to start writing. And so I write. I have a blog at lorischumaker.com and I have written a book and a few other things on my website, some Bible studies and all that good stuff. Just things that I can do to encourage other women to have some hope and face life with hope.
Yeah, and you are an encourager. We do have that in common that we like to share hope. And I love Lori's writing. We've collaborated a lot in the past, and I'm going to recommend and put links to all these things so you can go and find her and join her and see what she's up to. But we're just glad you're here today, and this is fun. All right, so we're called Ordinary Women, Extraordinary God, and I like to ask women, how are you ordinary? How are you just one of the girls?
Oh goodness, I'm just a mess. I mean, I think at the heart of it, it's kind of a mess and it's of life and finding, beauty in the chaos and finding peace amidst the chaos and the hard things. And um, gosh, I wake up every morning, drag myself out of bed and have to force myself to do that next right thing so often. And, I deal with a lot of health issues. I have, aging mother that I care for, children with lots of stuff going on, marriage, love my husband, but of course,
Yes.
I'm an ordinary woman with ordinary problems with an ordinary husband.
Yeah. And Lori, it's so easy because you and I are both smiling kind of people, happy kind of people.
We do.
And everybody's like, do you ever have any problems? It's like, well, yes. We're breathing, aren't we? But yes.
Exactly.
I love one of the things I love about you is that you've learned to laugh in the middle of the pain. And sometimes in life, you just have to laugh. I don't know if y'all found that, but you cannot be solemn and serious all the time or you will not make it. You got to learn to find some humor in life.
Exactly. And I honestly, even though I seem to smile, it's just been a go-to thing of my life that I always wanted to smile. It was my answer to try and make people feel better. But yet the laughter, I would have the smile, but I didn't always have the laughter.
Yeah.
And God gave me my husband, who is this He laughs so much that he doesn't quite always know when to get serious. So
Yeah, yeah,
he's the
yeah,
logic, or I say he's the logic to my emotion. He's the laughter to my deep thinking. And
that's
so
good.
sometimes I can get so caught up in that deep thinking and in the moment
Yeah,
and concern and all that stuff for what's going on. And he'll say it's okay to laugh, and he'll make a joke, and I'll be like,
yeah,
isn't that like just wrong to laugh right now? But yet it's such a good,
yeah.
healthy
Yeah.
thing to be able to laugh about the hard things, because it's laughter is a part of hope.
Yeah, it is. It is. I did a podcast right when we first started last year, and I may link it below, but it's called It's Okay to Smile Again, or You Can Smile Again.
Yeah.
And I do think we thought for the longest time, don't smile. Everything's serious. We must be intense all the time. And you can't be. It is okay to smile, even in the middle of difficulties and hardships. And laughter's good for the soul. The Bible says that. And
Amen.
so it's good medicine. So that's a good word. And I appreciate that about you. And it sounds like Brian is really funny too. Yeah.
Yes, he can be very serious as well, but yet he's got this dry sense of humor. So he's,
Yeah.
you know, he's an accountant, financial guy by trade. So they're usually a little bit more, you know, number oriented and drier, but it's a sarcastic humor, and we'll be just going about our way, and sometimes I keep going, and then I'm like, wait a minute, that was
What did
funny.
you say? Yes. Yes. I have a funny husband like that too. And he'll make me laugh just at the perfect moment, right when I'm about to get frustrated. And he'll make me laugh. And it's like, oh, that's so much better. Yes. So humor is a good thing. Yes. And
I remember one funny story. I have a kidney disease, which has caused me to have about 100 kidney stones in my life. And early on in our relationship, we were just newly dating, but I was passing a kidney stone, and I ended up in the emergency room, and he was at my side, and I'm thinking, okay, this is not where I want this new person in my life. And he's seeing the absolute worst of me, but the pain is so bad. You know, you can't control it. If you've ever had a kidney stone, you know, it's like this, it's like childbirth, only there's not a beautiful baby at the end. And it's just horrid.
Mm.
And I'm waiting for the doctors to get in. I'm waiting for some pain medication, and I'm in so much pain. But he's sitting there cracking jokes,
Oh
and
no.
I'm laughing through the pain. And then I start saying to him, like, you have to stop. You have to stop making me laugh, because they're not going to believe that I'm really hurting, and they're
That's great. Yes. Oh, I love that. We need more people like that. That's awesome. Yes. Well, let me ask you this. How has God been extraordinary to you? Even we see you're a regular girl, but how have you found him to be sweet in your life?
Oh, God has rescued me so many times.
Yeah.
As a young girl, I made so many bad choices. Was in a dysfunctional, searching for my identity in all the wrong places. I didn't know Jesus the way I know Jesus today, and I made choices that gravely impacted my life, um, and really led me into places of dark sin. And the shame, even after I understood forgiveness, even after I changed and started living in a better way, I still didn't know the grace of God to be able to erase that shame and give me this whole new perspective and way of seeing life. And that feeling of his grace just washing over, making me new, that if I look at where I am today as a wife, mom to three,
Mm.
an adoptive child, biological children, all of this that we have, our home, our life, our family, our friends, our church, once upon a time in my life, I never would have thought that was going to be possible for me. And that God stepped in and changed my scenario was just such a miracle, and such an extraordinary God. And that's the hugest one, of course, that piece of my life. But in so many other ways, it's like the kidney disease that I've talked about.
Yeah.
It basically lays dormant. I do some things to take care of myself. I haven't had to be on a medication. I pass stones only once every couple of years now. before they thought, the doctors had told me that I may not ever be able to carry children because of the
Really?
disease.
Wow.
And they said that by the time I was 50, I would lose my kidney.
Wow.
And here I am. My kidneys are working great. I
That's
have
great.
three
Yeah.
babies that are
Yeah.
all grown up now.
Yeah.
And so, and then in just the everyday little things, when I struggle with things in today, right now, my current struggles, and I mess up. I lose my temper. I say the wrong thing. I make the wrong choice. I choose something that's not quite right. But God always redeems that. He's such an extraordinary God to fill my gaps. When I look at parenting and I think of like, oh gosh, I could be doing this and I could be doing this and I could be doing this. I should help him with that and with this and I'm just too tired. And you can work yourself into a frenzy. But when you step back and say, this is what God gave me right here to take care of. And that's all I need to take care of. He's filling, and he manages to fill all the other gaps in my life and align the steps. And it's so extraordinary.
It is
Because
extraordinary.
without him,
Yeah.
everything would fall apart.
It's a great testimony. And, Lori, I think sometimes we limit God and we put him in a little box, or we think he only could forgive this much, or he only could redeem this much. He doesn't, there's no limit to his grace or redemption or forgiveness. You can't out sin him. If somebody's watching this and you've
Yeah.
blown it, you can't out sin God's love and grace. You just can't.
Amen. If anybody could have blown it, I could have blown it. Like if we could blow it with God, I'd have done
you
that
did it.
a long time ago.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Well, and I love, that's a great testimony. And I think people need to hear that. Sometimes I think we forget, especially if you've been through a lot, you start to think, oh, I've been too far. I went away too long. I've been in the pig pen too long. And I finally came to my senses. Surely God can't forgive me. I love the story in the Bible of the prodigal son, how the father throws a feast and he runs to his son. And it sounds like you've had that experience. You've just firsthand enjoyed the grace of God.
Amen. Yes. Yes.
That's a sweet thing. Me too. Me too. My story is much different, but I'll tell you, the more I understand his love and grace, the more I rest in it and the more I enjoy it and the less I feel like I have something to earn or prove. Yeah. So that's a good testimony, girl. Well, let me ask you this on a different note. What are you looking forward to this year? What are you excited about? Have you got some things coming up? I know you got a son graduating from high school. What else is going on in your world that you'd love to share?
Yes, the whole graduation's a big thing. We're trying to decide on universities, and it looks like he's going to be either across the ocean over in Hawaii, or he's going to be across the country in Miami, a little bit more on your side of the world of the country, because he's going into marine biology. So that's exciting. Personally, though, you know what? God gave me a word this year, and I don't always do a word of the year. But this year, like, he just flooded my spirit with the word abundance.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that's such a churchy word, God. That's such a biblical churchy word. Are you sure that's the word you want? Like, isn't there something a little bit different? And I was trying to, but no, it kept coming back to abundance. And the last few years have been really hard with caring for aging parents. I lost my father last year, and my own health issues. My son had lots of health issues, and his life really turned around. He had lots of injuries in basketball, and ended up having to give up basketball and surgeries and all of that. And it has been 2 to 3 years of just solid caretaking and survival living, like caretaking myself, caretaking for my parents, caretaking for my son, caretaking my daughter always, and then trying to fit in the dreams that God had given me, and the passion to write, the passion to maintain the ministry that I run, and to be involved in church. All those things kept being squeezed out by my caretaking, and I would just fit it into the cracks here and there. And I felt like it was more like survival living instead of abundant living.
Yeah.
And I feel that God has given me the word abundance because things are different this year. Things are going to be different, and I need to sink into that, and I need to trust God for that abundance. And I have a Bible verse if you want me
Oh,
to.
here, tell us your Bible verse.
Can I share it?
Yeah,
Okay.
share it, girl.
I have it.
Preach it, girl.
It's a little bit long. It's not a verse, it's verses. So it's
Sure,
not one that's always quoted, but pieces of it are. But the whole thing, I have to read the whole thing. So it's Psalm 65, 9 through 13. And this is out of the NLT translation. You take care of the earth and water it, making it rich and fertile. The river of God has plenty of water. It provides a bountiful harvest for grain, for you have ordered it so. You drench the plowed ground with rain, melting the clods and leveling the ridges. You soften the earth with showers and bless its abundant crops. You crown the year with a bountiful harvest. Even the hard pathways overflow with abundance. The grasslands of the wilderness become a lush pasture, and the hillsides blossom with joy. The meadows are clothed with flocks of sheep, and the valleys are carpeted with grain. They all shout and sing for joy. And I think my favorite line in there is the even the hard pathways overflow with abundance.
That's good. Yes. Yes.
And just as God prepares the earth,
Mm.
he prepares us, his children. And he makes abundance come out of the hard pathways. And he makes beauty and growth, and he levels the ridges and melts the clods, and he takes care of all those things so that we may have abundance in our lives as well.
It's going to be a good year. I love that.
Amen. I receive it.
My word this year, my phrase is something new. And it's from the verse that says, I'm about to do something new. Will you not be aware of it? I'm going to make streams in the desert, rivers in the wilderness. And I think there's something about that, because we've had some dry years, and we've had some caretaking and some illness and some deaths in our family. And I'm happy for a year about abundance and newness and freshness, and I'll take it, girl.
So maybe together we're going to work on some new life and abundance
I'm gonna
together.
enjoy it. and I'll tell you, we did a podcast about how to find your word, and people ask me that, how do you know? And so if you just need a real practical, if you've not selected a word and you want to, it's not too late. So I'll link that below, and you go over and you start praying and ask God to give you a word. And it's kind of sweet to focus on one thing for the year. So I love that, Lori. That's good. Yes.
It brings you back. It kind of brings you back when you're down, when you kind of feel like you're wandering, like what's going on.
Yeah.
And you go back to that abundance.
Yeah.
Okay. All this chaos might be going on right now, and I may feel really confused, but I'm going back to that word, abundance. And then you can look up that word over and over again in the Bible and see what it says. So it reminds you of God's truth and what direction he's taking you.
That's good. I love that. I started doing this 3 years ago, and I actually order from Smallwood Homes. I think you introduced us to that company, but I order a sign that has the word and a sign that has the verse, and I put them on the wall by my bed. And every year I just read that every day when I get up and when I go to bed at night. And it just kind of, there's nothing magical about it, but it really helps me to zone in, to kind of think about this one thing this year and ask God to do this one thing and focus on that verse. And it's sweet.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I may have to
get myself need to do that. Copy my idea. Go, girl.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, let me ask you this. If somebody wants to get in touch with you, they said, Lori, I'd like to know more about your adoption or your book or your website. What's the best way? How do you like for people to reach you?
You can find me on my website, lorischumaker.com. And you can email me through there, or lori@lorischumaker.com. Email me directly. You can find me on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I'm mostly on Instagram and Facebook. Twitter's just a little bit. I'm kind of looking at some other places maybe that I can join, but I think I'll just stick with Instagram and Facebook.
It's enough.
It's more than I can handle already to keep up with it all. But yes, I'm on there. I share a little bit, the blog, I'll share lots of articles, and I tend to, on social media, I'll share more about my personal life. So you get to know me a little bit more about me, and we can connect one-to-one a little bit more through email and the social media. But then on the website, I've got all kinds of resources and posts and articles that can help you as you grow in faith.
That's great. And Lori's got hundreds of things on her website. So I'll put the info, we'll put all the links, and y'all go connect with her, follow her on social media, tell her that you saw her on this video and that you say, I'm a friend of Melanie's, or I follow her ministry, I want to follow yours, and she'll like that. Send her a note.
I will love if you tell me that you found me through Melanie. I'll send an extra big hug back.
See? I was talking with a friend earlier. We love when people respond back or comment. So y'all comment below, ask a question below. We'll respond. I try to respond to every comment someone sends me or no message that they send. And I know you probably do too. So
I know I try. Sometimes things will get lost in the email inbox if I end up distracted for a few days and don't get to open my computer, or sometimes social media plays a trick on me and I'll look at it and I'll think I've responded to everybody, and then all of a sudden I open it up and I'm like, well, what? How did I miss these five?
I do that too, but we try. We really do
try. And you know something, I remember back when I first started, being online, before I had my own presence online, I used to think I didn't want to email or comment because I didn't want to bother somebody.
Right.
And I had that perspective, and I know it's different today with social media because that thought of mine was before. But if anybody ever thinks that, you're never a bother.
Go ahead, bother us. We like it.
Prayer requests, whatever it might be. We love to hear from you.
Absolutely. Please let us hear from you. Absolutely. Well, listen, one more question before we finish. Is there anything else you want to share? Have you got any other thing that God's put on your heart, a verse, a quote, something else you'd love to just let everybody know, a word of hope as we go?
I will share with you one thing. Extra thing, and Melanie, you alerted me to this Bible study, and my Bible study group is doing it now. It's Lisa Turkhurst's new book on boundaries. And I have done all the boundary stuff. I've worked on boundaries. I've refined my boundaries over the year. It was something I had to do a big work in. But it's really giving me a new perspective on things. I really enjoy it. And so if you find yourself, I think each new season of life, we find different and new boundaries we have to set. And we aren't, even if we learned how to set them in one situation, later on in life, in a new situation, it's like, I have to relearn how to do this in a little bit different way.
Yeah, that's good. I'll link that book. I feel very happy with that. It's amazing. And Lisa Turkhurst writes it with her Christian counselor. And so it's got some very practical things, but I know Lori and I both are dealing with children and aging parents and just interesting challenges. And sometimes you don't realize that you don't have a boundary and that you need to figure out why not and how to set it. And so that book was really helpful. I'll make sure to make a note of it below. So thank you so much for doing this. It's been so fun to talk to you. And I'm glad everybody got to meet you. Lori's awesome. So y'all get to know her and go find her, look her up. But thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Always love you, Mel.
Thank you. Well, listen, Joe, we just want to encourage you. These are just meant to be candid conversations of hope. And so if you're blessed, leave us a note. Let us know. Send this to somebody else and let them know, because this may be exactly what someone needs to hear today. And our prayer is for each of us that we will remember that we're ordinary, regular women, but we are pursuing an extraordinary God who adores us so much. And so thank you, Lori. It's been a joy. And thank y'all for joining us. And we'll see you next time.